A fighter trains with the best and wins with a KO. Kelly Orchard's podcast for successful badassery. Certifying badasses, one podcast at a time. Fear is the number one obstacle to success. Let's flip the format on your fear.
Yep, a fighter trains with the best and wins with a KO. And those are my initials. They have been all my life. Yeah, they actually have. And they're my dad's initials too. So whenever I used to sign something from my dad, I would just sign KO and it was legit. But yeah, so we are flipping the format on your fears over here on the podcast for successful badassery. I am Kelly Orchard, the badass certifier. And I've been meeting a lot with people who are somehow involved in schools. And I don't mean teachers or whatever. I'm talking about people who actually work in the office at a school. Lots of people who have kids who go to school, different schools. Somebody in the board of education for a school district, and then someone who actually works in the higher echelons of the administration of another district. And I just wanted to give I don't want to call it a shout out. I wanted to give some words of encouragement to anybody out there who has any kind of involvement with schools today. We need to show some compassion and empathy for everybody involved. All the rules keep changing on a regular basis. Yes, everybody's having a horrible experience. There is not one person that I have talked to that thinks this is all great. And there's a lot of confusion and a lot of anxiety and depression, and people aren't really, they're not equipped to handle all the emotions that are coming on for us, and we're projecting it onto others who are literally, legitimately either trying to help or do their jobs. This has nothing to do with politics or the health situation or anything else like that. I'm not going to go there with you. But we are all humans, and we all have, some of these anxieties and depression and behaviors, and none of us, including me, were equipped or prepared for what has occurred in our lives in the last couple of years. So just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of word of encouragement as you go about your day. Be kind, practice some kindness. Self-awareness is sort of what my topic is going to be for this entire month. For my work, what I have been doing is working on some marketing strategies for the coming year. I hired a virtual assistant, and I'm working with him to put together all the technology stuff. Because remember, I've told you this several times. The technology, building a website, landing pages, all the connections, all of the hyperlinks, all of everything. I get it. I understand it. I just don't like to work in it. It's not my thing. So I found somebody who it is. And that is part of what being aware of your skills and talents and abilities are. And for me right now, that's it. I would much rather be writing content, doing a podcast, recording, doing a little bit of editing for fun. I think I shared with you, I created a family dance video with my family that sort of, demonstrates the entire year of 2021 for us. And that's fun for me. Now, if I had to do this professionally, I probably would say no, that's not my area of expertise. But I love doing a podcast. So these are the conversations I've been having with clients as they've been trying to understand or come to terms with, even though we're setting goals right now, we're goal setting, some of you have made a New Year's resolution, and I'm not opposed to it. I am opposed to it. I don't think we need to wait for a brand new year to build some goals and to focus on something good in our lives and self-improvement. I think we could do that all year long. But as we're working on goals, I saw some social media posts about goal setting and how this was all, this is so helpful. That's what we're doing over here on the podcast for Successful Badassery. So I've been going through some old notes and documents, and I'm finding copy, and I'm editing it. I'm working with my editor on my badass book. Yes. It's going to be soon. Once again, delays. The book is written, given to my editor, then COVID happens. I get crazy busy. She gets crazy busy. Now we're circling back to working on the Badass book. I don't even have a title for it yet. Maybe you can help me with that. But it is the whole flipping the format on the fear of failure, kind of giving you the down low on the Badass acronym and what it all means. So today, for today's subject, I'm going to kind of go over some of you that, I want to remind you that this is an adventure. It is. Darkness comes along with the light, so some of the things that I've rediscovered are, let me just kind of fish through my notes here that are right on my desk. Notes that I keep. I keep things when it touches me. And, when I was working in the grief field, we wanted to, there's a thing called, the wishes of the dying, the 7 needs of the dying. And that, some of the things that they say is that when you're at the end of your life, you're not actually wishing for that you worked harder, or that you held more grudges, or that you got revenge on people, or that you would have spoken your mind more at the school, or whatever. The needs of the dying, they're saying, I wish I would have loved more. I wish I would have worked less and enjoyed life more. So as these new events continue, or actually they're not new, as we start to or begin to continue to have this constant every day waking up, wondering, okay, what fire am I going to have to put out today? What mood am I going to be exposed to? Or what behaviors are going to be, projected at me? Take a breath and know that you can set some boundaries. You don't have to take it all in. This is a tough journey for everyone, and we're in a very dark time right now. So here's the thing. The second A in the Badass acronym stands for awareness. And when you're aware that you're in a cranky mood, then you can change your mindset by like flipping the radio station dial. So if you're ready to be or maintain being the certified badass. Actually, I'm saying now that being badass in 2022 is not going to be enough. Everybody is a badass because you're here. You get up every day. You're trying to go to work, or you're trying to survive. You're getting out there. You're doing things. You are badass. It's not going to be enough. You're going to have to get licensed to be badass. And why? What does that mean? That means that you need to have tools in your toolbox: mental health, personal growth, professional growth tools that you can use and pull out of your toolbox at any time that you can navigate these struggles. And that's what Badass offers you, is the tools in your toolbox. Oftentimes it's just a simple attitude adjustment in your life that's going to make all the difference. So when we recognize that sometimes the negativity in our lives is so strong that we don't know how to respond, it's time to make a shift. So I teach you how to flip the format on negativity to be more positive, which will improve your mindset and build your confidence and give you the attitude adjustment that you need to rediscover your badass self and achieve the success that you have imagined, whatever your vision of success is, whether it's a successful relationship, a successful business. Maybe you're working on wanting to have a successful project. All right, so we all have worries and fears that disempower us, keep us stuck in the mud. Doesn't it feel like that sometimes? This causes us to be anxious and depressed and uptight. And that causes us not to enjoy life the way that we could be, should be, want to be. I mean, how long are you going to prolong just being happy? The world outside what's going on today, we can't control. I can't control it. You can't control it. And I don't have any magic potion or magic answer where I could wave a magic wand over all of this and it goes away for you. So it is going to be a matter of how you choose, how you decide to get through it. D is the decide is the D in badass. All right. So remember that being badass isn't about being macho or a curmudgeon or someone dangerous. And it's not about following the crowd. The urban culture refers to a badass as someone who's independent, competent, and persistent, a person who's responsible and courageous with a high degree of integrity and honor. I know a lot of badasses. I really do. So a badass is someone who's driven by values such as wisdom, courage, compassion, personal growth, selflessness, and positivity. So here is a reminder as you are interacting. Lost my word there for a minute. I was going to say integrating. That's not what we're looking for. As you're interacting with others, just remember this. Who are you? If you're really a badass, you're not a curmudgeon and you're not cranky and you're not going to treat somebody poorly. Your attitude is going to determine your success in all your interactions. So that's why you've got to be aware of what is happening with you, right? So if you're not aware of your negative mindset, that's when you sabotage your success. Bad habits stunt your growth. And the worst culprit is how you think about yourself. Negative thinking is self-sabotage. Think of that term as anything you allow to interfere with success in your personal life and in your business. For example, your career, your relationships, or your health are all affected when you complain, panic, follow the crowd, don't communicate your needs or ideas, eat or drink too much, smoke too much, or don't get any exercise. Self-sabotage includes any thinking or behaving in a way that holds you back from achieving a goal. So when you're yelling at the person in customer service, what goal are you trying to achieve? Seriously, I mean, really. And I'm not speaking from personal experience. I don't have people yelling at me right now. I'm a therapist. They come to me with their troubles, but they're not yelling at me. But I am talking to people who are getting yelled at just for simply showing up to work. And these businesses are having to close down because people are not showing up to work or they're ill. And then the schools are affected. And then you've got to go to work, but your kid is sick, or somebody in your kid's class got sick, and now everybody has to stay home. I get it. I mean, I do understand. I'm hearing it all the time. So you've got to pick up some new skills. When my health crisis derailed my life, I had to build a new track in life. And society tells us that in order to be considered successful, we have to set high standards, achieve our goals, never give up, and never look back. I had always aligned myself with that concept until my heart gave out and I found myself so weak that I was unable to even walk from my bedroom to my living room without having to rest. Through more than 2 years of dealing with heart problems, seeing heart specialists, undergoing numerous tests and surgeries, there came a time when I realized that I just couldn't make things happen that I most wanted in life. My future was beyond my control. I wrote my first book, Heart Lessons, almost as my own therapeutic tool, as much as I wanted to share a strong connection between the spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and physical lessons we need to learn on this journey through life. It is an adventure. My book is a testament to faith and resilience through adversity and the power of surrender. So flipping the format on the negative aspects of our lives means acknowledging the value of recreating self-identity, choosing freedom from emotional bondage, seeking opportunity and self-respect, being willing to dream a new dream, and letting go of an old dream that no longer serves you. This is what we're talking about here. It's a good time for you to take these risks. You could always blame COVID if you fail. That's why this is the best time for you to fail, because none of it will be your fault. It's a good time for you to try something new that you've never done before. I mean, that's a quote. If you want something you've never had, you're going to have to do something you've never done before. You know, we can flip the format on your failure, on your fear of it. You know, it's time for you to learn and acknowledge that what your feelings are and be aware of your emotions, because a badass is aware of their emotions. A badass also acknowledges their fears and owns them. And a badass knows when they need a positive attitude adjustment. So I talk a lot about emotional intelligence, and this is part of the awareness concept. You know, what does emotional intelligence involve? You've been learning so far is that leading you to the emotional intelligence. The definitions that embody it are self-awareness, having personal confidence, a presence, intrapersonal emotional connection, mindfulness, and focus. And then social awareness, empathy, service, compassion, adding value, resonance, and rapport, paying attention, focus, and listening to others. Active listening is a skill that more people need to develop. Remember, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use your ears more than you use your mouth. Self-management is another element of emotional intelligence. That's self-control, discipline, and willpower, making your plans, vision and initiative, stress, and impulse management. See, what I mean is like self-management also includes managing your stress levels. Conversation I was having the other day over coffee with a friend of mine, shared with me about in their work environment, it starts out as stressful from the very beginning. And hardly anyone really has the tools to manage the stress. I mean, yeah, you could say go eat well, exercise, get enough sleep, all of those things. Yes, there are new tools and techniques, and it is about how you're thinking and then feeling the emotions of it. That's what the Badass certification class is designed to do, is to teach you that specific skill and to give you that tool that you need so that you can pull out a song that's on your Badass soundtrack that's going to take you right to a happy memory. That's what's important. The happiness, the feeling of appreciation and gratitude. And then you attach that memory or those thoughts with a song. For example, I use this a lot, obviously in my workshop. But like for today, for example, I used to use in my workshops a song that helped me think of my grandchildren. I am known for random dance parties, and my grandchildren, my children grew up like this, and then my grandchildren are now growing up like this. We always have dance parties whenever we're together. It's a given. And so, the last couple of years that I've been presenting the workshop, and I share about my grandchildren, and I shared a certain song. It was the one from Trolls. Well, that's shifted now because my grandchildren are older. I just told you we do a little dance party video, which is fun for me. But my 8-year-old granddaughter chose the song, and I had never heard the song. More likely, I probably would have never even learned about the song, as I'm not sampling music that 8-year-olds listen to, So, but I have a whole new song now, so I've been able to switch it. I'm aware of how I feel. So I've switched the song. So whenever that new song now plays, it takes me back to remembering putting this video together with my grandchildren and the dance parties that we've had. What does that do for me? You're like, it's Pollyanna. No. In heart math and neuroscience and positive psychology, we have learned that it will change your heart rate variability. Your heart rhythm will shift along with the biochemicals and hormones shifting in your brain because your heart is sending new signals to your brain. Oh, we're happy now. And so you get the happy feel good drug that is shooting throughout your body now. And it will change how you feel. Your body will feel better. Your brain will be more clear. You'll be much more calmer and happier and able to listen better and come up with better solutions. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? And that's what I teach. And so that's what part of self-management in emotional intelligence includes, is knowing, like I say, a badass knows when they need an attitude adjustment and then how to do it to reduce the stress. All right. So I talk to a lot of people. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I can't do that. Okay. So what are you going to do? What are the alternatives? We want a magic pill. There is no such thing. The medications that you might be able to take are only going to cover up your symptoms. I've got a lot of people who don't want to go on medications. I don't push them. I love to take the holistic approach, and I do believe that heart math, positive psychology, neuroscience, and the cognitive behavioral therapy practices that I use, they help me. I constantly, every day, I feel like I'm in a state of stress myself, chronic stress, and I've had some symptoms, some physical symptoms of the stress, and how am I taking care of it? I listen to my music. I dance. I take a yoga class. I make time. I make me a priority. And that's what you need to do right now, is make you a priority for the self-care, not selfish stuff, not selfish. Like, I'm going to go and spend a ton of money on, on a spa day when you don't really have the funds to do that. But you can have yourself a dance party with your family, or even by yourself, and have the same effect that a spa day would have for you. And it's way less expensive. Let me tell you, before you can really make a significant change in your personal and professional growth, there are a few things that you need to stop doing, whether in the workplace, at home, or in your relationships. And here are some of the ways that you can flip the format with emotional intelligence. Stop making a lot of stupid rules. Yeah, you need to have some rules, but they don't have to be lazy attempts to create order out of chaos. What your team or what your staff or what everybody needs feels like Big Brother is watching. They're gonna leave. You also need to stop letting accomplishments go unrecognized. I see this all too often. You need to be aware of your accomplishments and the accomplishments of others and recognize them. Celebrate, even if it's just something small. Stop treating everyone equally. Be aware of who the badasses are in your work, in your business, and relationships. If you've got one or two in your life, you must let them know. And stop going back on your commitments. Now, we all know that health crisis, those are some of the things we cannot avoid. But don't let somebody down. It brings out the worst in you, causing you to feel a sense of failure yourself. And then it promotes negativity. If you say yes, mean it. That also builds credibility. And then stop being apathetic. Did you know that more than half the people leave their jobs because they think their boss doesn't care about them? Now, with this great exodus and people leaving jobs left and right, you're going to have to change this. The same goes in relationships of any kind. It's impossible to share any amount of time when they aren't personally involved and don't care. Stop being that person. Be aware of others around you. Here's some emotional intelligence tips for you. Relationships are based on communication. Likability, credibility, and empathy are created through listening. Stress is lowered and outcomes improve through positive tone and nonverbals. Multitasking limits communication. Caring is an essential part of a relationship. Resonance and rapport convey caring. Share optimism and positive feelings. So the science of the heart goes like this. Scientific research from the HeartMath Institute. They are an organization that studies the heart-brain connection and its relationship to stress and mood in humans. This is how the organization describes their findings as found on their website. HeartMath research tests theories about the electromagnetic field of the human heart using machines that measure faint magnetic fields like an MRI or an EEG. The heart's electrical field is 60 times greater than that of the brain. Its magnetic field is 5,000 times greater than that of the brain. The heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, and its pumping action transmits powerful rhythmic information patterns containing neurological, hormonal, and electromagnetic data to the brain and throughout the rest of the body. The heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. The heart has a mind of its own. The field is large enough to extend several feet to others. Imagine how this impacts your work environment. So how positive moods, gratitude, joy, and happiness create a larger, more expanded heart field, which makes you more productive, and negative moods like greed, anger, and sadness create a constricted heart field, which is more destructive. I am certified in HeartMath and I teach it to my clients. I'd like it to teach it to you as well. So hit me up. I got a special package for you. Also, I am working on the merchandising. Yes, going through the merchandise. I'm working with my friend who does this kind of work. I'm going to be offering some badass hoodies for you. That's right, badass hoodies and water bottles. Not the cheap kind of water bottles that you would throw away. Not the plastic ones. The nice metal kind that have the cold or hot ability, so they'd be really cool, really nice, that you'll want to keep it forever. And other people are going to ask you, where'd you get that badass water bottle, or where'd you get that badass hoodie? And you're going to say, from the Badass Certifier. So be looking for that very soon. You can always get my badass habits on my website, and I'm going to let Mr. Ocean take it away for me. But in the meantime, thank you so much for becoming a certified badass. I'm doing that one podcast at a time. You can always join the Badass Ambassador crew and get the one-on-one coaching and my digital self-paced program that has every single tool that you could possibly need that is in the Badass acronym. I'd love to share that with you, so hit me up for that as well. But in the meantime, just get on my list. I got a Badass certification class online coming up soon. Lots of other great things coming up for you. The Apple a Day podcast is always on the same platform that you're hearing this podcast for. So don't forget about Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day for daily nourishment, for wisdom, success, and personal growth. And thank you for joining me, Badass. I am Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier, signing out.
You're kind of like a radio station, playing good stuff or negative stuff. Choose positive and turn up the volume, badass. Snag your Badass Habits ebook. Get started on your badass journey. Go to licensedtobebadass.com.